Brony conventions, am I right? Who would ever want to go to one of them? I'm serious. As much as I love to go into a convention surrounded by my fellow pony enjoyers, I can't help but feel this twinge of uncomfortableness crawl up my back. The idea that somebody might do something thoroughly embarrassing. The Brony fandom has an abundance of horror stories at conventions, and none more terrifying is when you give a Brony an open mic to ask a question. The Brony fandom is certainly not constructed of typical individuals, and so some people might not understand specific social cues, understanding what questions are and are not appropriate to the speaker. Probably one of the funniest examples of this is Animated James at a stand-up panel.
If you guys aren't good at stand-up, why did you agree to do it?
Wow, way to bring down the entire mood of the room, James. Why don't we give a panel to you? Let's see what you could do, buddy.
And I want you to fart on a bowl of ranch dressing.
I can understand the jitters someone might have to ask a question. Sometimes it doesn't always come out the way they want to, especially if they haven't rehearsed it. I remember when I asked a question to Jim Miller and Katrina Hadley at a Q&A panel that I stumbled over my words. So in many ways, a lot of the people who do this are very brave, especially those who ask some of the most deplorable questions possible. And with Lauren Faust returning to a Brony convention for the first time in years for 2026's Everfreed Northwest, I am constantly reminded of horrifying things that the Brony fandom has done in the direct exposure of many of the staff that makes this show. But probably one of my favorite, or should I say least favorite stories is from Animate Miami, a convention that hosted a panel featuring a couple of voice actors from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. This includes Peter New, Michelle Creeper, Nicole Oliver, and Andrea Libman. This is where our story begins. One Brony in a white t-shirt walks up, and before he can even make a question, already makes a fool of himself when they ask him to move forward closer to the mic, which he took literally and meant taking a step forward when they meant bringing it closer to his mouth.
Alright, but... Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is what keeps happening up here. Somebody says closer, and the person goes...
His question was directed towards Nicole Oliver, the voice actress of Princess Celestia. He asked her specifically about what she thinks of the fandom's depiction of her character. And, well, I'll just let him take it away.
Alright, so I'm pretty sure you're aware of Princess Celestia being portrayed as a tyrant, an internet troll, and God forbid, a molester.
Ooh, that was not good. How can you lack the self-consciousness that this guy does? Oh, that poor kid behind him. Jesus Christ. Can we give props to the staff who was moderating the questions being asked? I'm surprised they didn't screen it beforehand. There is just so many things wrong. For starters, why would you think any of this at all would be a good question? That's not asking her anything about what she does in her career or the sorts of things she did as her character, but just some random bullshit for the sake of being self-referential. Look at me, how quirky and meta I am. Dude, what the fuck? And keep in mind, this question was asked in front of a 13-year-old Michelle Creeper filled in a room with many other children because this is an all-ages event. I'm not accusing this guy of anything, but I definitely think this was irresponsible. Nicole Oliver thankfully handled this like a champion with the style and grace of an Olympian.
No.
I'm canceling this question.
So I'm going to let you know from where I stand, the darker side of the fandom is not part of what I will talk about. It's not part of what the show's about. If you choose to do that, that's your choice. It's not why we're here, not why I'm here anyway. So my name is Nicole Oliver. I voice Princess Celestia. I voice Cheerly, and I'm really glad you all like the show. And I'm glad that it's helped a lot of people and you all have fun with it. We'll leave it at that.
Thankfully de-escalating the situation and not having it be awkward for the people afterwards. I applaud her. So if you're wondering what the fuck were those jumble of words he just said, he was referring to a fandom variation of Princess Celestia known as Princess Molestia.
4.5 more years.
It was a meme started on 4chan and I don't think there's a direct reference to who began it. But it was quite popular because I guess sexual harassment was so fucking funny back in the day. There was an entire Tumblr blog called Ask Princess Molestia, which took off in popularity, making her into more of her own character. What's funny is that as it went on, it actually started to pivot focus over to Luna, because she was a gamer girl in this one, and if there's one thing bronies love more than sexual harassment, it's gamer girls. I don't understand what the fandom was smoking at this particular time. This was a time where the the show became more and more self-aware of fandom content and memes and would incorporate that into the show. It was fun for a lot of people to see official members of the staff recognize something they've made. So I'm guessing this guy was trying to see how official this character could possibly be. Why didn't they choose something else to talk about? They could have chosen fucking anything, man. The thing I've been scratching my head about is, where is this guy now? What is he doing? Who the hell is he? And if you're expecting some insane deep dive, well, I'm sorry, but there really isn't much to go off of. I tried to scrub as far as I can for any information on who he was, and it seems as if he has no social media presence, at least not anymore. But that doesn't mean we're out of things to talk about. There are still meat on these bones. Beginning with the reaction to this, which is just priceless. You see the staffer moderating this having a visual aneurysm before taking the mic away from him, like he couldn't believe what he just heard. You see a few people trying not to laugh or literally freezing in place out of embarrassment. The fight or flight responses are clearly not working here at all. You see several people just wake up as if life was just breathed into them for the very first time. You can tell everybody in that room knew exactly what was going on and wanted it to end immediately. Keep in mind, I'm the person that has to replay this over and over and over again to watch this frame by frame for you guys. I'm suffering more than you could possibly imagine. Every time I watch this clip, I feel this pit in my stomach. I have a physical recoil. The phrase, "even a molester," has been baked into my everyday vocabulary with some of my friends. Even with the de-escalation, you can tell the tension in the air was thick. This is the moment that everyone is going to be walking away with, and nothing else anybody says even matters. In many ways, this guy is kind of like a martyr. You could say he took one for the team, because without him, proportionately speaking, people would have probably took a different clip or lesser clips of some semi-cringy question that not at all compares to what he had the audacity to say, effectively putting all the cringe focus on him rather than the entire Brony fandom. I decided to take up the initiative of curiosity and watch other official recordings of the convention to see if I can find this guy anywhere else. And it's weird, he was like a specter. He only appeared in this one moment and I couldn't find him anywhere else. I've seen so many of the same faces and cosplayers over and over and over again, but I could not find this one dude anywhere. I'm starting to wonder if this was like an FBI or CIA psyop all along, because like, how does this happen? Like, I am so confused because some of these events happened before that big Q&A panel. I'm guessing he was off doing other things. I mean, this wasn't just a convention for My Little Pony, there was other stuff going on. So there's unfortunately a small sliver of a chance there's another fandom that has a same story about this guy. But watching all this footage kind of gave me this warm feeling inside. Besides from that one awkward moment, it reminds me as to why we use conventions to begin with, and that is to just simply be together. There is this innocence to it. To express yourself unapologetically in a way you couldn't otherwise. It's really wholesome. It's what gives me the strength and hope to still remain in the communities that I'm in. And even if we have to endure mistakes like that, we still overcome it and are probably able to laugh at it at the end of the day. Or come together and cringe about it, but that's really up to your own preference at that point. Honestly, despite how bad this blunder is, I'm kind of hoping this guy is doing well for himself and found a place in a community where he feels comfortable. Because by God, I'd be terrified to show my face anywhere near a Brony gathering after something like that. I don't really got a question for you guys, I just want to talk about this moment because it has been living rent-free in my head for years. This is a 13-year-old clip that still feels fresh every time I watch it. I choose to torture myself, and I desperately need to talk to a therapist about it. Anyway, that is all the time I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been May, and I'll see you next time.